Here we want to graph y equals tangent of theta over 3. When we have theta over 3 like that, remember we can rewrite it as tangent of 1/3 theta. And we're going to work through our 4 different things. Actually, for a tangent, we just work through 3 of them, really. We have our phase shift, period. Amplitude, we actually don't usually do much with. And the vertical shift. So phase shift is what is added to theta. Over here, this is normally a theta, or there is for this one. What's added to it? Well, nothing's added to it, so there is no phase shift. It doesn't move left or right at all. So we'll graph our x-axis here. We're not moving left or right at all, so we can go ahead and put the y-axis in. Next, we look at our period. The normal period for tangent is pi, but the way that we find period for tangent is pi over k, where k is what's multiplied times theta. Well, 1/3 is multiplied times theta. So the period is pi over 1/3. We remember dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So pi times 3, or 3 pi. So with the period, we take our starting point and add the period. So that is going to be 0 plus 3 pi is obviously 3 pi. When dealing with tangent, we actually don't do quarters. We can do halves. We don't need 4 sections for tangent. We can just do halves. So we're going to find our halfway point. The whole period is 3 pi. Half of it is 3/2 pi, or 1.5 pi. And so we have 0 plus 1.5 pi is 1.5 pi. And we actually like to put into the left of 0 also, so we'll go back to negative 1.5 pi. And let's even continue out to negative 3 pi. So we have that marked. The amplitude we really don't work with here for tangent. There's not an amplitude. It can be made steeper if there is a number out here. And so now we're going to graph this. So remember with tangent, we have zeros and vertical asymptotes. So for tangent, it's 0 at the starting point, or in this case right here at 0 on the y-axis. And then at our halfway point, there's a vertical asymptote, and then a 0. And then there would be another vertical asymptote if we continue this out at 4.5 pi. And then backwards, we have a 0 here at 0, vertical asymptote, 0 at negative 3, and tangent is shaped like this. So you go through the 0, and you allow the graph to get closer and closer to the vertical asymptotes. And so there is the graph. We then check for vertical shift. There is nothing added, so there's no vertical shift. And there, the red graph there is the graph of y equals tangent of theta over 3.